All right, everybody. Welcome to another big schmooze, another BS evening, another BS. I mean, depending on where you are, it's not evening everywhere. Maybe
could be morning.
Will, do you think it's offensive to people who live in different regions to assume that it's evening? I mean, should I just can we get like a more neutral, like good day?
Good day.
No, because
good day neutral.
Good day sounds like it's morning.
Good, I suppose, yeah. You know, good morning, good day. Maybe you could say good morrow.
Good.
That's tomorrow. Like have a good have a
good calendar date.
Good fortnight to you.
I mean, I guess that encompasses a long period of time.
Covers a couple weeks. Anything.
Yeah, this fortnight thing. Why we got a word for 2 weeks and it's fortnight? A little odd, isn't it?
It's kind of weird. What strikes me as strange is there's a game called Fortnite.
There is a game.
It doesn't take 2 weeks to beat the game, so I'm just sitting here kind of wondering, what's the deal with that?
Oh, it can take you 2 weeks if you're there's two types of people. Will, there's the people who rush to the finish line, and there's the people for whom the journey is the destination.
It's true.
It could take you a lifetime, much like Siddhartha on the road to enlightenment. You could spend a whole existence in Fortnite, I believe.
You could spend your whole life under that banyan tree, so to speak.
When he went into the Fortnite, he saw a dead body.
He saw an elderly man begging for change, and he saw an old woman on her last leg. And he said, I want to change this. I want to create a game that shall take many moons to play. Hello, Courtney. Welcome.
Hello, Dr. Bill.
Hello.
Tom.
Big C.
Yes.
Welcome. Tom.
Will, before we started the show, Will was telling us that his eye got completely mangled, destroyed. He's got a glass eye in now, I think. So Will, I think let's air the dirty laundry first. What happened?
Yeah. So this is going to take me back to about 48 hours ago.
A fortnight ago, you might say.
A fortnight of hours, sort of a fortnight of time ago. I was in Wyoming. Basically, I got an email.
God's country.
God's playground, they say.
Yep.
I didn't see him there, but presuming that our schedules didn't line up.
He must have been on a slide, one of those big slides,
He's on the big slide, or he was on a business trip maybe. But God was not at his playground in Wyoming, and I was there, and I was there because of this. Can you guys see this?
Yeah, it's a chocolate coin.
No, it's a Bitcoin.
Oh,
it's a full bit, and it's worth $100,000 today, and who knows how much tomorrow. So, pretty big deal.
Hold on. So you're on a playground with some rich kid who's just
God's playground.
Okay, yeah. So I'm stuck in the imagery of God's playground. Like it just looks like a big heavenly playground in the sky. Tell me where
jungle gym.
Yeah, where'd you come across this Bitcoin in Wyoming?
Yeah, so here I am. Coming out of Cheyenne. That's in Wyoming, right?
It sure is.
It's probably in Montana, but there's a Cheyenne, Wyoming, nonetheless. And I was coming from that town to a small town called Billings. And now I know Billings is also in Montana, but there's a Billings, Wyoming. So just hear me out. And I do know that
they're taking a lot of names of these other cities.
There's a Paris, Wyoming, too. Don't ask me why. But anyway,
I mean, so Wyoming. My understanding of Wyoming is they have 6 cities, and they're trying to get to 10.
Yeah.
And as part of 10,
that, trying to get to 150,000 people.
What about a Munich? What if we had a Munich?
What about Athens? Little Greek influence, a little worldliness here in Montana. Yeah. Yes, nonetheless, I'm in Montana, searching for gold, and I'm in a small town called Billings. And
prospecting, is that what they call that?
You could, you could. Yeah. I mean, in the industry, we like to call it, panners. So I'm known as a pan man. And a colleague of mine would be a pan brother or a pan
bro
associate.
Panda. You call your dad if it's like a family situation. Pan ma, panda.
Right. So pan ma, panda, and myself and a stranger, we're all
whole
panning for
family.
gold.
Okay.
Yeah, there's 6 of us, and we're out there panning for gold. Smash my dang finger, right? What middle finger. Smashed it right up. So then I'm thinking, okay, this is a bad day of luck, Gets much worse because I didn't know, one of the fellow panners with me, the stranger, he was trying to basically mug all of us. So he was trying to steal all of our stuff. And so
was he like doing a worse job doing the digging and the mining and panning? Because he's not really putting any effort in because he just knows he's gonna kick you over and grab your Bitcoin and run off with it.
It was all theater. I saw him digging, and we say it was probably the shallowest hole I've ever seen. I was sort of like, what, how much time did you put into this? And he said, 20 minutes.
Pan bro, this hole is it's above ground. It's actually there's no indent.
Pen bro, I'm stuck. Help me, please. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so Pen bro is there, and he's digging a shallow hole, and wouldn't you know it, 20 minutes later, I strike gold, quite literally, and it happens to be in a coin form. So I'm just sort of like, wow, one man's trash is another's treasure. Am I right?
So somebody dumped their Bitcoin in the great city of outside of Cheyenne. Billings, Wyoming.
Yeah. Billings, Wyoming. They just dumped their Bitcoin. And, it's understandable. Sometimes in the biz, us panners and prospectors like to say, this is what you call a Bitcoin dump. That happens when the price of Bitcoin goes down and people get pretty ticked off.
You guys, you panners, you get really excited when you can dig through a dump, as I understand it.
Oh, man. Digging through a dump is like being a kid in a candy store. It's just sort of like, what trash can I find to treasure? You know
how the guy on the sail of a boat
challenge
land ho, and everyone gets all excited. For you guys, it's like there's a dump over here, and you guys all come running.
Yeah, right. Sometimes we'll say to each other, it's starting to stink over here. I'm sensing a dump in the local vicinity. Yep, your itchy trigger finger sense was right. There's a dump right over there. Your nose is a keen one. Keep an eye on that. So, regardless, just getting back to our story and the reason for my now glass left eye. Which you'd never know, by the way, unless you were there. But my glass eye,
unless I try to make eye contact with you,
well, just make eye contact with my right eye. You know what I mean? It's the correct one. The left one, don't. I'm a bit offended if you stare at my left eye for too long, and I can see that through the camera here. So, long story short, the guy whacks me, knocks out my eye. He smashes my finger after he sees it's already smashed, which is just a dick move, frankly. And then after that, he steals 3 of these other Bitcoins that I found. And I'm lucky to have escaped with my life, my 1 Bitcoin, my beautiful trusty fedora, and my chaps. That's about it.
Sadly, you did have to leave your wife and kids behind. But some casualties are worth it.
I did trade my one of my family, my minor family, my minor wife, my minor kids, minor in perhaps more ways than one. But anyways, my minor wife, traded her for this. And say what you want about the ethics, but the earth is a savage garden. So
gainers give.
We do what we can.
That's
exactly. Right. Yeah. Have you ever been in a mining relationship?
I cannot see either of you right now. So, Will, I can only guess what your beautifully mangled eye looks like.
Well, it's pretty good. It's glass, so it's not as bad as it could be. If you had seen it now about 24 hours ago when there was a bloody hole socket, that's a whole different picture. Yeah, it's not quite as Pinstagrammable, as the kids say.
Yeah.
Well, it's October, so all kinds of gore.
Oh yeah,
this is if you're going to post a bloody socket, this is the month for it.
All types of ghouls and gore this month, so I guess this does fit in quite well. But regardless, I have a cool story, and the miner's life is an interesting life, but I don't know if I could say it's for me. After being mugged once, that was too much.
Because your bank account is not compelling you to go back out to Billings. That's why it's not the life for you.
Well, maybe, yeah. It was very expensive to get there, and I had to spend at least half of this Bitcoin to even end up in Billings. So it's expensive to get there.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think, but
well,
yeah.
that's very exciting.
Yeah, it's just a day in my life,
That's right. Yeah. Well, and so you seem to weirdly be able to see better than Courtney tonight, who keeps dropping in and out of the stream here. So look, you might need to. Maybe she needs some glass eyes. Maybe that's her eyes could be crystal balls like yours.
They could be Cristobal Columbus's. Yeah, that sounds. I mean, you don't really want that though. The thing is, the glass eye is cold, so
it doesn't warm up.
I mean, I suppose you could warm it, but you don't
Is
want
it
to warm
made
it too
from-
much.
What are those hydro flasks made from? Is your eye made from the same stuff? It's just constantly ice cold.
It's insulated from the outside elements. Yeah, it's like my eye is made out of the same material as those swill bottles that are super expensive.
The really loud ones. So like occasionally you bend over too far and this eye just falls out, and it's the loudest thump you've ever heard in your life.
It's a loud thump, and it's not unlike sort of if you're familiar with the AirPods from Apple that sort of sit in your ear comfortably, and then you sort of bend maybe over maybe 5 or 6, maybe 10 degrees, and they fall right out of your ear. Just drop straight to the ground like a dead man in a saloon,
Yeah.
Not to use a cowboy phrase, but it's sort of
That
what I've been
Wyoming.
at the past couple. Yeah, you got to fit in, and you don't want the locals to kind of give you weird looks. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
You got to like spit inside. You got to hawk a bunch of things, right? Or else you get beat up.
Yeah, I basically had to pretend that I liked tobacco for at least a week. And that was just to make sure I didn't get mugged for a second time.
This is chew, basically. No,
yeah,
this is not a little slow.
Yeah, I'm not really a chew man. I mean, I don't. Have you ever tried? the old dip in the cheek there?
I never have. No, Courtney, have you?
Of course.
Oh yeah. What are your thoughts? You a fan or anti-fan?
I think that was the same day I stepped into womanhood.
It's a big day.
Personally prefer double horseshoe. I'm one of those big or go home.
Now look, I don't know anything about this. What's double horseshoe?
I like Big Red myself. It's a brand.
Wow.
What's it like though? Like thicker?
Double horseshoe is lining your gums with it.
Both. Oh, both your gum, upper and lower.
Double. Yes.
Oh wow. Upper decker and a lower decker.
Yes.
And it gets you like a high, like the party started. Now that my gums are lined and
yes, I've never been nicer and meaner in my entire life at the same time.
Wow,
that sounds about right. I was a real son of a gun to a lot of those fellow panners for about a week. I was basically trying to adapt my body to the dip, and then I was having to wean myself off the dip after a couple days. So it was a real a real roller coaster. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Trainspotting, but it was maybe a little bit similar to that, at least for the first day.
Let me ask you this, Will. Do you wake up at any point and you're on a horse? You're on your horse that you had to get.
We call them steeds, by the way.
You're on your steed.
I'm on the steed, yeah, trusted steed.
But like, you ever just wake up? You're not really sure. I must have partied a little too hard with the boys, with all the boys out there in the mining town, and you realize that you're on your steed, and there's a noose that's tied around your neck, and that noose is attached to a nearby tree. And if the horse starts walking, you're stuck in that tree. You're gonna be hanging from that tree. And then some guy that you maybe said the wrong thing to, maybe beat him at poker, maybe you called him a cheater.
Something.
He gives you a nice little villain's monologue, and then he rides off, and you're sort of stuck. Like, all right, whoa, don't go too far. I hear that happens a lot. Did that happen to you?
I encountered that maybe twice. Didn't have it happen to me personally, but I was one of those see a friend, help a friend kind of situations.
Oh, I thought you meant you were one of those like, see a friend, good luck getting out of this.
Oh no, no, I was sort of see a friend, help that friend. But when I did say I see a friend, they did kind of freak out a little bit, so that maybe explains kind of why they were maybe ornery at first, and
They
then
did both
grateful for the
die.
help.
You did go try to help both of them, and they did.
Well, yeah.
The horses
One of them
did end up running off, and the men did not make it out.
He helped the horses.
Yes,
The
see you,
horses
friend.
were friends.
Come here, Steve.
It's sad. The one guy who did survive had typhus the whole time, and he died later that night. So I don't know what's worse, frankly.
It was a blessing.
A blessing in disguise, maybe. I don't know. Only the Lord can say.
What were you saying, Courtney?
Is that contagious? Did you also contract it?
Oh, well, I mean, the local doctor in Montana told me if I tie a frog to my throat and then I stick a few leeches on my toes, that typhus is not even going to come close. So I did that for 2 days, looked like a freaking idiot, but I didn't catch typhus, at least to my knowledge. I am coughing up like a green phlegm, but that's probably COVID. So
It sounds like a TikTok hack to me.
It could be. Maybe I need to be on TikTok. Maybe I need to bring my Bitcoin strategies to TikTok and
so Will,
sort of synergize.
Are you not on TikTok? Because you keep sending me all these TikTok links.
No, I'm on TikTok. It's I'm on a specific area of TikTok called Cowboy Talk, and it's spelled T-O-K.
They didn't do a second draft of that name, did they? They gave
no,
up.
It's not even gender inclusive. It's just sort of really sexist, and I don't know how I ended up there, but
doesn't sound like
that's where the money is,
Yeah.
So
well, I started
a cowgirl talk as well, but I gave the reins of that onto somebody else because I'm not trying to mansplain to a cowgirl how to do her job. That's
time for you to listen. Time for you to stop talking and listen.
Time for me to shut up and take my chaps off, take a seat, and listen. Yeah.
Well, I bring this up, Will, because one of our focuses tonight is a TikTok that you sent over. You sent like 6 of these over, and I don't really know how many of them I need to play because I don't really know what's going on with this guy. But they're all about this one guy who I don't really even know his name, but he seems to look like a certain American billionaire. Do you want to maybe set us up? What's going on here?
Yeah. So basically, there's 2 Courtneys. Oh, wow.
There's 2 big C's.
Boy. This is like the Matrix all of a sudden. But yeah, going back to our question there. I'm on TikTok and I'm a minor they call it micro influencer, if you will. So I'm trying to do my best there. But I met a man, he was working basically in the mining town that I was in. Didn't speak a word of English. But I thought it was Elon Musk. So the first time I saw this gentleman, I said, hey, is that Mr. Musk? Is that Elon Musk? He turns around and he says, what? And he speaks a little English, I guess. So what? Elon Musk? No. Oh, okay. My mistake. Come to find out, this guy's a TikTok celebrity, so he doesn't even need the Bitcoin mining money.
But I don't even know why he's doing that. Hey, sir, I don't know if you've heard about this endeavor I have. It's called Cowboy Talk. Might want to get on there.
Oh, he already follows me. He's plugging Cowboy Talk.
He loves it. Okay. Well, so I'm looking at this picture of him. This is a video we're going to play. And yeah, I mean, he does look like Elon. I mean, what is it? I almost hate to say that because Elon's a weird looking dude, right?
Yeah. It's not much of a compliment, sadly. But the guy looks eerily similar to Elon Musk, but he goes by a different name.
What's his name?
He goes by
Milan
Husk. Close. Milan Tusk. Kind of maybe Donald Tusk could use that for a name for one of his kids. I mean, I know when you're a billionaire, you have kids at 90, so still an option for Mr. Tusk. But this guy's name, Yilong Ma. So I was like, oh, that almost even sounds kind of similar to Elon Musk. He's like, no, Yilong Ma. So I was like, all right, because Yilong Ma.
The thing with doppelgangers, they often don't have the same name as their doppelganger.
There's often sometimes a little detail changed, to distinguish.
Right. So, okay, let's watch this and let's see. This is him doing an impression of Mr. Musk.
Yeah. So this is Yilong Ma. He's kind of into Elon Musk talk. I don't know if you're probably not. I mean, if you're not on TikTok, you don't know these things. But he's on Elon Musk talk, and I'm on Cowboy Talk. And the fact that our our paths crossed is quite remarkable. But I think that it's just good for him. We're just trying to give more attention to Elon Ma and maybe help out this gentleman.
I'm glad
in any way.
Glad you two you got in each other's craws. I think let's do it.
We were crawdadding each other out. Let me tell I'm just kidding.
You found when you're crawdad sings.
There's something about the cowboy life that was really I don't know. I'll say it's not entirely for me. You know what I'm saying? It just gets a bit boring.
It's so craw. Right, anyway, let's just watch this.
Hi, everyone. I'm Elon Musk. I want a challenge. I want a challenge.
All right, I gotta say that's not quite what I was expecting when we started it.
I can translate actually. My having known Elon Musk for a while now,
I think that was in English. Was it not?
I mean, yeah.
Well, okay, no, I got it. I understand.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's legible. It's just
what I'll say
for our audience.
Seeing him in action, the resemblance actually is very uncanny.
It's a little uncanny valley, honestly. He just sort of looks like a bot of Elon Musk with sort of Asiatic features.
Just
a cool accent.
Just slightly.
Yeah, right. He's got the same hair for the people who are listening instead of viewing. He's got the same haircut, the same jawline, the same rounded, little Musk face. And, he's wearing a suit and he's got a power pose, sort of arms folded. Like, what are you going to do for me? I'm a big CEO of a company. How can I help you? Or perhaps you can help me. It's sort of a power move.
So Elon
impressive stuff.
My understanding is that he put a lot of work into the face and head and scalp that he has now, which is not really what he looked like naturally. So he had to, top surgeons and top hair transplant specialists worked on him for like 5 years to get him to be what he is now, which, as we've said, is a little odd looking.
Still odd, yes.
This guy just born with it, right? He is born exactly like what Elon Musk probably paid $1 million to look like.
He won the lottery of good looks, just sort of like, I didn't need to spend a dime on my face, I just look like this, which is kind of impressive.
Probably like, if only I had done a head transplant with this guy.
That would have been so much cheaper than getting plug surgery on my hair for the 9th time to make sure I cleaned it up from the last guy's botch. I mean, the thing is, Elon's kind of pivoting towards China. He recently opened a Tesla China branch, and I'm thinking, I'm not a Tesla employee. This is pure speculation on my part. But as a cowboy with discernible sense of where the wind is blowing, I think that this gentleman here will probably be the Chinese Elon Musk, and he'll sort of run Tesla as a Chinese-ified. Is that a correct term? Chinese-ified? Chinese. It's probably not. It's probably. I hope it's not misinterpreted. But he's sort of the Chinese Elon Musk, and I'm all here for it. And I stand Elon Ma.
Are you picturing that Elon is sort of like, I gotta have a strong presence in all of my different offices?
Exactly.
So it's just going to kind of like have a big corner office with big windows overlooking all the manufacturing. And he just kind of like looks down with a frown at all times. And people are like, oh my God, that's Elon. We better go faster.
Exactly. Yeah. He's sort of the guy looking out the big window at production facility. And the workers have their heads down and they're quickly assembling flammable car parts as quickly as they can.
Yeah, there's six fires that nobody can put out.
There's a fire in the production plant, but the day is just like any other day. Now, I think you're probably not even wrong, Tom. I think that honestly, Elon probably wanted to keep Elon body double in China, so to sort of keep up the pressure on the plant. I'm basically right here. So I think he represents sort of a very forceful management style that maybe we're looking at a new type of management in corporate America,
or
in the corporate world.
Alternative solution here is, look, he's a big public persona, and it doesn't take a whole lot of outrage to get these freaks out here to try to like attack you. You need security. What if now maybe the way billionaires should handle this is instead of like a robust security guard system, they just always walk in this big herd of lookalikes and they're all dressed exactly the same. And no, like any sniper would have no idea which of the 50 guys that all look exactly the same is the important one.
Wow. That's actually genius. Because if you have 6 Elons in a ring and there's no Elon in the middle, sort of who do you target first?
Right.
I'm thinking like 30.
Yeah. No, 30 to 50.
Yeah. Well, an automatic rifle empties at a rate of 60 per minute. So you'd probably want 65 Elons just to be safe. And
the whole herd of Elons was taken out today in Los Angeles.
In Las Vegas. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good theory because the more the merrier, as they say. And if Elon's able to kind of shield himself with another body double of himself, then I say more power to you. We need at least 50 Elon Musk from now on.
So I'm picturing now there's a meeting between Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. So 50 Elon Musks all get out at the same time. They're all walking up to this office where there's 50 Jeff Bezoses, and they all talk to each other. So nobody's sure which one's
hug.
Yeah, they all hug.
They all hug. I love that so much. I would think though, in my vision of this meeting, there's a lot of Elon Musks who look almost eerily uncanny valley, like maybe Elon sort of constructed them. Whereas Jeff maybe went with like perhaps the cheaper security where, yeah, they're all bald guys who are buff, but there are some that are sort of have a big nose. There's other ones that are sort of short, others that are like slightly taller. So it's sort of like, it's even maybe a little bit more tricky because unless you really know all the details of Jeff Bezos's face, you're gonna be like, well, where do I even start?
Each of the Elon doppelgangers is hotter than the next.
Oh.
He just keeps fixing little features.
The last one to walk in the 50 plus Elon Musk train is just like catwalking straight up.
Yeah, he can't get out of his own ego, so he's constructing them from his idea of what he looks like, not what he actually looks like.
Right.
So it's very easy to tell who the real one is because all these other ones are just so beautiful.
They're way more beautiful than the one ugly Elon who happens to be the real Elon. They all have thicker, more luscious hair.
Longer manes.
Less of the dad bod sort of phenomenon going on. More of those fit physique.
It's just basically like the Adam Devine's group of like buff Jesus men from Righteous Gemstones walking with Elon. Elon's like, they look identical to me.
You could say maybe that like his biceps are bigger, but I think that helps throw off the assassin. It's like, okay, Elon, yeah, sure. I mean, whatever helps, right? With the assassins, whatever helps. Helps get rid of them, of course.
All right, let's watch the rest of this.
Elon Musk. I want.
Can you pause it really quick? So when I saw this the first time, I was like, I relate to this so much. Let me tell you why. It's because sometimes, when I'm in Spanish Florida, in between my mining season, summer down here in Florida, which turns out terrible idea. But I'm in here in Florida in the summer. It's hot and humid. I'm down here in Spanish Florida, and sometimes you'll walk in and you get hit with a "Buenos días." ¿Qué quieres?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, shoot, So I had to master the Spanish language in its entirety to learn how to order a couple of empanadas.
So you're ordering. You're like, buenos
días.
Hola.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I see.
Tienes. So I relate to this on such a level, it's just I'm happy that Elon Musk is learning English, and I would say his English pretty freaking good.
Oh sure,
at least just from my point of view.
That's true. Yeah. All right, let's continue.
I want the first go to Mars. Okay.
Oh my God, when he smiles, he looks exactly like Elon.
Exactly like Elon. It's so weird. it's
I'm freaked out.
it's
This is not a
uncanny.
deep fake. This is real.
This is a real guy. It's not a deep fake. I dug into this guy's profile, and I'm also friends with him from our Billings, Montana interaction. So he's he's real. And let me tell you, he just challenged Elon Musk. He said, "I'm going to go to Mars first."
Yeah.
I was like, "Whoa."
Well,
I don't. This might be a case of Doppelganger Elon sort of overtaking normal Elon.
It's like that movie Us.
Yeah, exactly. This sort of dark Elon who's better
going
at
to get to
being
Mars
Elon.
first. Yeah, I mean, well, look, I'd put my Bitcoin personally on neither of them ever gets to Mars. In which case, it's a draw. So pretty close to beating Elon.
Ooh.
That's true. Yeah, if it's a draw, then Elon loses.
Elon has to marry his mother-in-law.
Grimes the older, Grimes the elder, Grimes the younger, and Grimes the elder.
Granny Grimes.
We've talked about this before, and I think it's fine. Like there's some petty things that I think are probably unfair to dwell on with a normal person, but with a billionaire, whatever. They don't have any real problems, so it's fine. So
right.
Elon had a baby with Grimes, right? Second baby with Grimes sometime in the last year. Am I right so far? Did that happen?
Yeah, they named it like R2-3PO.
Right. Which, look, a lot of people are doing that these days. So that's not even the weird part of the story.
It's really not.
But so he also had an affair with one of the high-ranking, I don't know if it was a manager or an executive at one of his companies. And in addition to that affair, please look this up because I'd love to get the details on it. If somebody wants to fact check me here, my understanding is he had an affair while he was sort of like, I don't know, in the middle of whatever. I don't know if he's breaking up with Grimes or he's about to have this other baby with Grimes. This executive had twins that he fathered through artificial insemination, or they had like a surrogate or something like that. It was some like, wait, so you're having an affair with this woman who is your employee, and it was not accidental. And in fact, it cost you a lot of money to do these extra measures to father these babies with her. They don't have a real story. Can someone tell me what actually is that? How close am I?
Okay, Howard, let me calm you down here. Let me find it here. I'll be what's her name? I'll be
Robin. You're Robin.
Robin. I'll be the Robin here and Google this for you.
What I'm seeing so far, he fathered twins with a top executive at Neuralink, and at the same time, he had his daughter with his wife via surrogacy.
What about so these twins, were they through a surrogate too?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so the most outlandish detail maybe I got wrong there. I'm in the ballpark though.
He has 9 children.
Wow. Not to slut shame him a little bit further, but apparently Elon actually had another affair last year with the wife of the co-founder of Google, Sergey Brin. So he's been all over the place. Elon's been a busy man, and frankly, all I can say is, oh, go ahead.
Could you imagine if he and Elizabeth Holmes got together?
I mean, there'd be some humor there. I don't think they could top that text exchange that I've said 100,000 times, but I got to find it again now. Will, do you know what I'm talking about? Where there's
put me in the game, coach.
It came from the trial, I believe. They were going through the texts between her and Sonny, that old guy who like helped her, set up her whole fake company. And it just captured the energy between them so beautifully. She says, "You are breeze and desert for me, my water and ocean, meant only to be together, tiger." And he responds, "Okay." Just okay. Not even spelling it out.
Literally just okay, not even okay, just okay.
Correct. Okay.
He could have said you too. You know what I mean? At least then it's kind of like, oh, well, I get partial credit.
THX.
That's insane.
It's just okay.
Yeah. Or it would be even worse with just K, just the letter K.
K. Yeah. Well,
like,
K, I think K sounds angry, right? It sounds like there's drama between them. Okay just sounds like, I don't care. Whatever.
Okay sounds like, stop texting me. I'm trying to eat dinner. She's like, my moon, my sweet moon of my heart, my honeydew melon that sits in the plum box ripe in the freezer every morning for me to eat like a William Carlos Williams poem. And then he's like, okay.
Together
sure,
forever, tiger. Okay.
Tiger. The tiger part's the best. I don't know why. She's like, you're my tiger. And he's like, I'm a middle-aged Indian man who doesn't care. Okay.
Okay.
So Courtney, you said in the next thing, which I not read, maybe you brief us on it a little bit, but the headline here is the FDA was right to warn about the NyQuil chicken challenge. And
Yeah.
look, I know nothing about this. Will you know about this NyQuil chicken challenge?
No, Courtney, what is this? Is this cough medicine chicken any good? Have you tried it?
I digress. This is the Tide Pod Challenge 2.0. Can you
boy.
Yeah.
But
that sounds bad.
I think a difference though is Tide Pods are not designed to be eaten under any circumstances. Whereas you're supposed to drink NyQuil every once in a while, and chicken, you can eat chicken.
That's true. That's true. It does have a lot more protein than Tide Pods do also.
Good point.
I think the biggest difference is it takes more effort to do this challenge. You have to bring the medicine to a boil. But I think what caught my attention the most was that the FDA was the one that told me about this challenge, not TikTok itself.
Probably for the best. If you had heard about it on TikTok, you might have tried it. I save recipes all the time.
There's a TikTok man on the inside of the FDA. He's doing their job for them.
Agreed. I almost feel like the opposite, though, where I only want to do what the FDA says not to do if TikTok, you know what? I'm getting my words jumbled. Let's pull the article up. I can't see it.
I can listen here. We can listen. So here's a robot's probably about to read it. So let's just go through it.
This opinion piece was written by Lena Wen. The FDA was right to warn about the NyQuil chicken challenge. Here's something you might not have expected to hear from the Food and Drug Administration. Don't cook your chicken in NyQuil. The FDA is warning that doing so could be dangerous, even fatal.
Okay, I'm gonna throw an idea out here though. If you've got a cold and you're making chicken anyway, and you're gonna have that little cup full of NyQuil, does it really matter if you pour it on your chicken?
It's
a good question. I mean,
there's a chemical reaction with the heat that I think makes your brain a little extra melty than it would be if you just took it cold.
Sometimes you need your brain to be a little extra melty, though.
Isn't your brain liquid anyways?
Generation does, yes.
Right,
it makes your brain a lot more smooth.
Sounds good to me. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I want a nice smooth brain myself. I find it to be unaesthetically pleasing, all these little grooves, But I'm kind of wondering, I have a question for the FDA, and maybe you could answer this, Courtney. But the Mr. or Mrs. FDA, or they them FDA, whatever their pronouns may or may not be, FDA Incorporated. Can I eat a Popeye's chicken sandwich with a bottle of codeine NyQuil? Like, is that okay? For example, can I drink my codeine?
Their point is don't heat it. You can drink your codeine and eat it too, if it's not.
So what the heck? So I've been microwaving my NyQuil this whole time. You're telling me that's been bad.
They never said no pot.
Will, you're thriving as far as I can tell.
Jesus.
So maybe it's the secret sauce.
Maybe it makes you maybe it makes you a little bit more congenial. You know what I mean? Maybe it's maybe we could name it like Pete Davidson syndrome or something,
like Lou Gehrig's. All right, anyway, let's
right.
This is in response to a TikTok challenge in which people boil a whole chicken in over-the-counter cough and cold medicine. This so-called NyQuil chicken challenge encourages other people to do the same and post about it using the hashtag #SleepyChicken. The challenge sounds silly and unappetizing, and it is, the FDA's news alert says. But it could also be very unsafe.
Okay, I'm going to pause this. Yeah.
I'll go ahead.
You go ahead.
I was going to say, I just thought that it was funny that the FDA was like, By the way, this is also very unappetizing. It's not just going to kill you, but it tastes pretty bad. Not that I've tried it, but it's probably bad.
I think it'd be funnier if they were like, look, the thing is delicious. Tastes goddamn great, but really, really not safe.
Melts in your mouth like cotton candy, but you shouldn't probably eat it.
And the part there, the FDA's news alert, definitely that got kind of smushed together. So I thought it said the FDA's snooze alert, which I thought was like sleeping news from the FDA. The snooze.
The snooze. Catch up on the latest sleep news at 6.
Which this is. You know, I was like,
evening snooze.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we should have called it the big snooze, and then maybe nobody would have listened to it. Instead, we're trying to schmooze. But it should have just been an ASMR sleeping podcast.
That could be a little sister pod. All right, let's continue.
That'll be our attempt to compete with the Headspace app, the Big Snooze app.
Medication can make it much more concentrated and change its properties in other ways. Even if you don't eat the chicken, inhaling the medication's vapors while cooking could cause high levels of the drugs to enter your body. Some have criticized the agency for drawing attention to something that did not seem to be widespread. But I think it was the right call. Even if the alert increased search interest in the challenge, it also made it virtually impossible to find content about it online that isn't about how dangerous it is. In fact, TikTok has diverted searches for it to a warning about online challenges. That's a public health success.
Look, until we see the numbers, know how many of these people are doing it, I don't know how much of a success it is.
I wouldn't celebrate quite so soon, you know.
Tide Pods are back in.
And
Tide Pods the snooze alert. 6 o'clock snooze.
Snooze, 6 o'clock snooze. NyQuil is hot again, but should you be drinking it hot? Later at 6.
They never said anything about Dayquil, did they?
That's a very good point.
That's true. They should have just said, by the way, the Dayquil one is gross too.
Don't quill
Not that
your
we've tried it.
Dayquil chicken, delicious and safe. NyQuil chicken, stay away.
Snooze
Ketamine
alert.
chicken. Snooze alert. Ketamine chicken, not hot right now. Separately, it's fine. Not together. The chicken and the ketamine react chemically and it kills you.
Oh my god.
This is actually kind of an interesting article that you found, Courtney, because I've been on TikTok for a little bit now, and I saw this recipe guy, and he's, there's a lot of recipes on TikTok. A lot of people saying, "Oh, this is how I make my grandmother's Italian spaghetti. My grandmother was so Italian that she's basically a tomato her whole life." It's these kinds of things. So you get cherished family recipes, you get, cool little cooking hacks, you get people who parody the cooking videos, who just do it for shock value and entertainment. And you get some really questionable TikToks too. There's this one guy, I remember, he was like, "This is how you make Jell-O. Number 1, water from Mississippi River. Number 2, Jell-O packets. Number 3, food coloring." And so basically, this TikTok channel was advocating, when you mix your ingredients together, use the water from the Mississippi River because it's important for it to taste this way. And I was like, that seems like maybe a public health L if you do that.
The FDA is going to have to come out now and say, don't use water from the Mississippi River in this Jell-O recipe that nobody's heard of. We're just coming out ahead of it.
We just want to let you know it's a success already, but don't do it. Not
We're just coming out of, we want to make sure nobody's saying this at all. Nobody has posted about it, but do not use nuclear waste in Kraft mac and cheese. We're calling it the Hot Mac. We're going to come out and name it. We're going to say, don't do it. All right. And this is a public health success because nobody has done it. And we just came out against it already. We're ahead of the game.
There's a new snooze alert from the FDA. FDA snooze out this morning. The 50 plus bags of Cheetos that were found in the basement of the Chernobyl Housing Association that have been sitting there for 40 years collecting radiation that are now for sale online. We do not recommend you eat those. They taste terrible.
The nuclear
this is a public
hot
health
Cheetos. Not the flaming hot. These are the nuclear hot.
Spicy hot. They'll destroy your body. They're so hot.
Here is the link online to the sale, which you should not click.
Yes, we're just coming out ahead on this, and we're all going to take a day off for doing such a public good.
By the way, it tastes gross. Don't try it yourself and try and dispute it, because we had some top people taste it and they were all like, this is super gross. Not that they tried it, but it is terrible. We passed it around the office and people were gagging later, but again, tastes bad. Don't try it.
Thank you for tuning into tonight's FDA Snooze.
Brought to you by the Dark Brandon administration.
Oh my God, they just talk until they fall asleep.
It's NPR like, so they just put themselves to sleep because it's just so soothing and lulling.
When they're both snoring, then the show just kind of slowly fades out, so it's a different length every night.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Terry Snews for the big the big snooze. I'm Terry not gross. I'm Terry. This is Fresh Air. I'm Terrence Grossman. Thank you for snoozing with me. I'm gross. I mean, I would love to be on that show at some point. So
you ever think about these people? They get on Fresh Air, and look, not everyone cares about Fresh Air. Not everyone cares about NPR, but a lot of people, if you're like into the arts and you make stuff, it's kind of a cool thing to be on the show. But I was thinking, I get to be on Fresh Air. That's amazing. Then like you go and you sit down and like you're waiting for the voice to come into the head because they record it in Philadelphia and you're probably not in Philadelphia. And you're like, all right, Terry's going to be here any second now. Then it clicks on and it's like, hey, I'm Dave Davies. I'm filling in for Terry Gross. I would just be like, oh, come on. I don't want to do this anymore.
Dave, all due respect. Dave, peace and love, but I don't want to talk to you. Where the f is Terry?
Yeah. Can we call Terry?
Terry?
Can I come back when she's here?
Terry is the show, Dave. I don't know if you know this, but you're not the show. You're not Fresh Air.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
I'd be so mad.
It'd be the most ornery interview on earth. Dave's like, do you just have a problem with me or do you not like my format? No, it's just that you're not Terry, Dave. And that's it. Nothing personal.
That would actually be the best episode of Fresh Air, I think, if someone just was openly mean to Dave Davies for not being Terry Gross.
They're like, listen, Dave, you do great work, but nobody do your own thing, Dave. Do the Daily Hour with Dave, Don't be doing Fresh Air with Dave. Fresh Air is Terry's thing, Dave. Yeah. Don't steal it.
I want to talk to a small, sensitive Jewish woman who's been doing this for 50 years, or I don't want to do it at all. All right.
I want to talk to somebody that's been colloquially referred to as the fountain of knowledge, and not you, Dave. Nothing personal.
Oh my God. So as far as people who consider themselves fountain of knowledge, we do have another story here as we kind of start to wrap up, which is our boy Jordan Peterson back in the news. In this case,
back in the snooze. Sorry, I can never unhear that.
The big snooze might just become the name of the show.
We should just change the name. Yeah, why not?
Yes, all in favor.
Corporate decision, unanimously pass.
But so our boy Jordan Peterson, he's in the news, the snooze a lot. And one of the things that's come up recently in relation to our last show was in our Spitgate Warren Commission, we really laid out all the details about this new movie, Don't Worry, Darling. And there was so much drama around it, right? But one of the details was that the Chris Pine character, who's like a cult leader, was inspired by Jordan Peterson. And apparently, Courtney sent this over, somebody confronted Jordan Peterson about the fact that he is the inspiration for this movie's villain.
Morgan.
Oh, is Pierce Morgan who confronted him? Of course, because like, what else? What, he's not going to go on Fresh Air to talk about it.
No, he's not getting Terry. I'll tell you that. He's getting Dave at a minimum.
Dave. I thought you boys would love this.
Oh man, yeah,
this is too good. So Pierce Morgan, who's a notorious, can I say this?
Yes,
a notorious piece of shit.
Yes.
Okay, so Pierce Morgan, a notorious piece of shit, is like, hey, thank you for being on the show, Jordan. I'm British, and I just want to remind everyone, first and foremost. And secondly, I just want to say, are you proud of being a big piece of shit? And then
Yeah,
Jordan's sort of like, well, you can talk, Pierce.
You know, they say Satan was the most interesting character in Paradise Lost, and I think that there's a little bit of a brag in that. And he starts weeping.
He's like, I've always wanted to be a Bond villain and not James Bond. So I think they got it right. And he just starts weeping. And you're like, I get the sense that you wanted to be James Bond and not the villain.
He gets asked if he's a piece of shit, and he's just like, the masculinity in James Bond is one of our only bonding elements of our culture. One of the only ones we have left.
It's overwhelmingly masculine, and we need that.
Just like Bond had not come up at all, has nothing to do with anything. It's just clearly like the next YouTube video that he wants to do for the Daily Wire, and he's just like kind of doing a run through of it.
He's like, give me an Idris Elba Bond, or give me a Jordan Peterson Bond, or nothing. It's like, well, I mean, he's got some creative choices for how he thinks he should be portrayed and stuff.
All right, let's watch this.
I've got to wrap it up. I don't want to, but I have to. I want to ask you just quickly, the film director Olivia Wilde has a new movie out. She says it's based on you, this insane man, this pseudo-intellectual hero to the incel community. Incel being these weirdo, loner men who are despicable in many ways.
Can you pause it really quick? I'm sorry, right before we get to the Pierce Morgan question, Jordan Peterson is very tan. Like, he's very tanned man now. So I don't know if he came back from vacation or if he got it all sprayed on his face, but I don't think Canadians are supposed to be that tan normally.
Well, he's on Daily Wire now. He's got a show. So I think they, he runs through the Ben Shapiro hair and makeup department probably.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, he just looks overwhelmingly tan. I don't know. I just, for the audio only listeners, just imagine Jordan Peterson in pretty much, I hate to say this, almost blackface. He's just darker than he's nuclear Cheeto dust dark, this gentleman.
I'd like the nuclear Cheeto color foundation, if possible.
I always thought that since my ancestry DNA results, when they came back and I was 2% Saharan, I knew that I must be black. It's like, okay, Jordan, I don't know about this. He's got some interesting ideas, this fella. So I guess let's hear what he says.
Ben Shapiro is going to promote him if he says stuff like that. So
I know I don't say that lightly. I'm just sort of speaking on behalf of Jordan Peterson, who's, as we established, a notorious piece of shit. So
I see this Matt Walsh loser on Twitter all the time.
Oh, that guy!
He's like, I'm not going to apologize for anything. I'm just going to go ahead and think that you guys are all psychos. And I'm going to call you psycho. It's like the dumbest fight where it's like, you're just like clearly just saying dumb things because people get mad, and then you like to get mad at the fact that they got mad at your tweets, and it's just like the biggest lose, like that. That show, The Biggest Loser. They should just play Daily Wire reruns.
They should play that, and they should just have all these like rage bait type of like right-wing lunatics who just say things for money, like Alex Jones and Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro on The Biggest Loser. And they could just talk about how they really wanted to do something else with their lives.
I think you don't even explain why it's no longer a weight loss show. You just have like in big letters The Biggest Loser in the corner, and it's just all Daily Wire content.
It's just basically playing the Daily Wire, like streaming it like in real time, but it has The Biggest Loser in the sort of the bottom right-hand corner, so that the show that you're watching.
Yeah. It'd be like, next up on The Biggest Loser, the Michael Knowles Show.
Next up, Garrison Keillor.
Oh, we got to see what he's up to for one of these upcoming shows. He's got to have a couple bad interviews out there, right?
Oh, probably a handful.
All right. Anyway, let's jump back into the very tanned, the very toned Jordan Peterson.
Heroes of these people.
Sure. Why not? People have been after me for a long time because I've been speaking to disaffected young men. What a terrible thing to do that is.
All right. So I heard a voice cracking there. Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Also, it's just funny when Canadians say bean instead of Zen, because it's like, Bean? Mr. Bean, shut up. You Canadian.
This is the kind of thing. Now, some Canadian would get offended, and Matt Walsh would do a 45-minute video where he's like, "You're the freak here. You're the freak. I'm not the freak. I'm not going to apologize for saying the truth.
I'm not going to say sorry. I'm not. I refuse. I'm doubling down." Canadian Matt Walsh.
Yeah.
So wait,
So he made it 6 words in before a tear.
We actually pressed play like 12 seconds ago. It's just been a long pause of Jordan just thinking about his next words very carefully, trying not to cry desperately.
His eyes just welled up with tears immediately when he's like, "So you're the bad guy in this Olivia Wilde movie about incels, right? What do you think about that?" And he's just like, "Sure, why not?" And now he's crying. That's pretty much all that's happened.
Why not? Right? Who cares? Might as well. Oh boy, this is not going well.
I thought the marginalized were supposed to have a voice.
It's making you emotional.
Well, God, you know. It's very difficult to understand how demoralized people are. And certainly many young men are in that category. And you get these casual insults, these incels. What do they mean? It's like, look at these men, they don't know how to make themselves attractive to women who are very picky, and good for them. Women like beep.
So do you think he knows what this movie is? Like, he probably hasn't seen it, right?
Definitely not.
But so he's making a lot of assumptions then, I guess, like about, because my understanding is the movie is kind of like a Stepford Wives situation where it seems like this idyllic village and it's like a 60s utopia for these dorks who, like, I don't know if they like kidnap women and put them in this world like the Stepford Wives, or if it's like a digital thing. I don't know, there's some kind of big twist, right? But the idea is they've just concocted their utopia of 1960s white suburbia where, you know, the man goes to work and the woman does the housework. And I guess I'm seeing him do some reading into like a defense of the dorks in this movie.
A defense of incels generally, I think, is what he's trying to do.
And
it seems weird. Yeah, traditional values and incelisms he's defending.
But it's kind of like if you were to say, like, all right, so in you know, if I were to ask, I'm trying to think of a good example for it. Like, if I, like, a modern Stepford Wives would be like Get Out, right? And you're like, so I hear the Bradley Whitford dad who would vote for Obama for a 3rd time. I hear that was based on you. You know, like, not a good character in that movie, a pretty terrible character in that movie, to then like be weeping about, like, well, you know, they would vote for Obama for a 3rd time. Is that so bad? They just want to be a liberal who's got sympathy and who's an ally, and I'm just standing up for the allies.
You know, it'd be funny. Let's say we apply that exact same situation to I think in Back to the Future 1 or 2, there's the bad guy, the villain, Biff Tannen, right?
Yeah.
And he's sort of based on Donald Trump, I guess, loosely, with the big old coif hairdo and stuff. You imagine Pierce Morgan? He's like, so Donald, just wanted to ask you, sir, Mr. Trump, while we have you in the studio, apparently the director, Robert Zemeckis, of Back to the Future fame, he has recently said that Biff Tannen was based on you. And how does that make you feel, Donald? And he's like, well, I gotta.
Donald Trump cries at that.
Yeah, it would be so funny if he cries. He has the same reaction. He's like, people are so mean, you know, and why can't I be a piece of shit? Can't people be pieces of shit to other people? People can change. People can change, and you know what? The thing is, I paid for all those abortions. You know, there's no problem. You know, it's sort of Donald Trump like weeping. You see the makeup sort of running down his face. You know, he's got Rudy Giuliani hair syndrome.
There's just these white streaks of his actual skin color under his eyes.
Yeah. You see his like bulbous rosacea nose with like all the redness that's truly
like
there.
Pinky purpley skin.
Yeah, like almost slightly corpse-ish, maybe.
Yes, Thanos-like purple skin.
Under the dark tan. I don't know what product Jordan Peterson's using, but it's the similar one that Trump uses. It must be like the standard. Yeah, the Cheeto dust color is the standard issue in the makeup kit for right wing.
Every Republican man gets this makeup kit.
Yep. Ted Cruz has 3. Yeah. Ted Cruz has 3, and Mitch McConnell has at least a dozen on hand. They all look the same color, so that none of them can be called racist. It's like, I don't know if that's how that works. I don't think you understand the concept.
All right, let's see what else he's got here.
Be picky. That's your gift, man. Demand high standards from your men. Fair enough. But all these men who are alienated, it's like they're lonesome and they don't know what to do, and everyone piles abuse on them.
When she said that,
so sorry to make you pause it so much and so frequently, but it's just funny sometimes because Jordan Peterson defending these young men, it's just really kind of I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, you know what I mean? By all means, be an advocate, I suppose. But it's funny because he's like, all these young men and nobody's there to, teach them how to pay rent and give them hand jobs and sort of show them how to do things, sexually. It's like, Jordan, I don't, I'm not, you and Ben Shapiro hang out a lot, or I'm just kidding. No, but
you cry.
I know, it's like he's so overwhelmed by how emotional the thought of like horny young men makes him that he just can't contain it.
So blue that it brings him to tears. That's
like,
what I got him.
I've never seen ball sacks that blue before. I mean, I've never seen comedy that blue, but I've never seen ball sacks that blue either. At a CPAC convention, I was just like, oh, these boys need to be sucked off. Like Peterson, Mr. Peterson, sir. This is the Pierce Morgan show.
It's Dr. Peterson. It's Doctor, actually.
Oh, sorry. Dr. Peterson, you can't be saying stuff like that, sir. That just sounds a little predatory. He's like, no, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just you see a need and you have to fulfill that need.
The same way you see a plant that needs water. It's wilting. It just needs a little support and water and fertilizer.
It just needs a drink, It just needs a little drinky, and it's fine,
Drinky.
Oh, man.
He's just like
Dr. Peterson. This guy is too much, man. This is so funny.
Olivia Wilde. It stung you, didn't it? That's all.
By that time, that as far as critiques go, that was kind of low level. I mean, once I got painted as Red Skull, magical super Nazi.
He's like, I don't really care that I'm the bad guy, and don't worry, darling. But the fact that I was compared to the red guy in Captain America, that really stung. That really hurt.
Let me tell you, I'm trying to hold it back. Okay, the floodgates are not going to open. I promised myself this time. But some mean son of a gun on Twitter called me Hitler the other day, and I don't know if it was ironic, but I can't take that. Well, I don't even have a funny mustache.
Being called Hitler is a real insult. Being called the cartoon bad guy in Captain America is much funnier to me. That's what he's like.
It's such a petty thing to sort of break into tears about.
Keep playing it.
Oh, man.
That was kind of the end of the insults. There's no place past that. So when Olivia Wilde
they compared me to a Marvel villain, and there's no coming back from that. When they called me the Joker, I was like, piss off.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of all the other examples that might have been funnier, even when they compared me to the bully in this film, this high school, the bully in the Breakfast Club. That was really the low point. I was compared to the principal in the Breakfast Club who's running the Breakfast Club, and he's just kind of inconsiderate to the kids there going through all their hardships. That was the end of it all.
That was the end. And then to go one step further, they said, you're just like the parents from that movie, The Footloose. And I said, there's no coming back from that. There's no coming back from being called a parent that doesn't like dancing.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
They compared me to that bear guy in The Shining in that one scene that nobody really knows what's going on, and it really, really hurt.
And then they compared me to the bear in that Revenant movie. They just said it, and it was so mean because I was like, he doesn't even talk, and I talk. You know, I know I've been there, and I talk.
They compared me to the mom in that movie, The Country Bears, about the animatronic bear band touring the countryside. Took me years of therapy to go over The Country Bears. I still can't watch it.
Somebody once, when I was in 3rd grade, called me the witch from Hansel and Gretel, and I just never, ever recovered from that. I mean, I wouldn't push a kid into an oven. I would never do that. He just takes things too literally. It's sort of like, you know, and not everything is, some things are metaphors, Jordan, you know?
Just go look at the preview for a movie, which I quite liked. I thought I would go see that movie probably, and perhaps I will. It didn't really bother me. My family and I talked about it right away. We were able to respond to it with some degree of humor, which then people completely misunderstood. I said I hope that, you know, that if I had to be played by someone, I think Chris Wilde, he's a very good-looking man, and so that seemed...
Oh boy.
Chris Wilde. I love Chris Wilde, the actor. His Star Trek films are wonderful.
Chris Wilde, married to Olivia, right?
What's his name again? If I have to be played by anyone, I hope it would be played by Girls Gone Wild, who is a wonderful actor.
I hope I'd be played by Clive Warren in a movie, maybe. You know Clive Warren? He's such a beautiful man, Clive. You mean Clive Owen? No. I mean, Clive Wild.
What's with Pierce doesn't come in there to correct him? Even like Jordan
Pierce left him hanging.
What's his name? Chris Wilde? Like he's asking. It's not like he's in the middle of like a barrel of thoughts.
Pierce Morgan's like, I'm not going to touch that one. I'm going to let the internet have fun with this little morsel.
I love Jordan Peterson. Like, tried to be funny. We tried to have some humor about it. Yeah, and then he just can't. The only laugh is that he got the name wrong.
It's all right, you know. And then I said something like, I hope he gets my fashion style choice right when he plays me. And it was a joke. All that was a joke.
Oh, no, you've been so controlled today. And yet in that brief moment, you got very emotional. Why?
It's really something to see.
He's breaking down again for the audio only folks.
Constantly.
We have, okay.
How many people?
What? No, you're just like it's a little commentator thing, you know, like for people who like watching it, listening to like a football game, you know, like, all right, he's stopping again.
He's at the 50-yard line. He's about to kick the field goal right through the uprights. And we see the first tear.
Tears on. Oh, it's going down right now. Go! Oh, yeah.
It's past the 50, it's past the 75, and it's all the way down to the chin. Oh my gosh. The tears are dripping off his nose now. He is in full waterworks. Jordan Peterson is in full on tears from a very simple question by Piers Morgan that doesn't seem to have triggered any normal person, maybe, hopefully.
Are dying for lack of an encouraging word.
Mm-hmm.
And how easy it is to provide that if you're careful. You know, give credit where credit is due. And to say,
he's crying now for the audio only. There's full on tears. It's just streaming down his face and in his eyes.
You're a net force for good. If you want to be.
It's like soap opera.
Net, yes. In all the details,
gross? No.
You know, no one's perfect.
Gross good. A gross force for good.
People make
a gross force for good, yes. A net? No. I don't even know these terms. These are just stupid words knocking around in my head from a finance class I had to take once.
Jordan's been a fascinating interview. Thank you very much.
Piers is just like, he's just gonna cry every time I ask him a question. He's gonna pause for because one of the industry terms, you don't want dead air where nothing is happening, right?
Right.
And just watching Jordan Peterson Well, like if you get someone crying about something that is really emotional and relatable to the audience, usually that's fine. In this case, it's just
that's a good interview.
Why are you crying about this Chris Pine movie again? 45 seconds of silence. Then he's just like, well,
because of the incels.
Won't somebody think of the poor incels, though?
Won't somebody consider all the beautiful men out there in the world that just need somebody to come over there and give them something? It's like, Jordan, this is really...
Oh, my God.
Oh, this is really funny. I hope Jordan... I mean, I wish him all the best. I don't agree with any of his political views, but I think that he needs some kind of help, you know. Shouldn't really be crying. He does need a hug. You'd think his wife would hug him, maybe, but I mean, all the stuff he says about women, I don't know if I would.
He loves Chris Wilde too much.
Chris Wilde, yeah.
I've seen all his movies, and he's so good in the movies. We call them films.
When's somebody going to ask him about when Harry Styles spit on Chris Wilde? When are we going to get his take on spit?
Yeah, maybe us. You know, maybe we'll have Jordan on the show someday ourselves, and we can do a critical, you know, cross the aisles sort of discussion, because we're a super liberal show. Of course, we're a very political show all the time, and we're a very liberal show.
Big snooze over here.
Big snooze. Basically
wait.
NPR. Light.
Let's wait to interview him until I'm in the height of my PMS so I can match his emotional energy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that
this
would
is
be
hard-hitting journalistic strategy. That's why Courtney adds so much to the show, because Will and I couldn't bring that energy, frankly.
Exactly.
I add two things neither of you can.
At least two.
I think
both over.
I think Jordan and you synchronizing would be good, because I think once that happens, you know, we'll get the interview that we need. You know, we'll get those. We'll be able to ask
cycles.
Exactly.
Yep.
When you're on the same level, you know, you'll be able to basically, you know, perhaps even, you know.
Well, don't mansplain this to Courtney. She's the one who's doing it all the time.
That's true. I don't know. Well, I'm just saying, you know, for the interview, you know, perhaps even at some point, I'm assuming telepathically communicate with Jordan, and maybe.
Will, it's time for you to listen.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I'll sit down and listen. I gotta.
Boy.
Yeah. By the way, when I'm sitting, I'm not manspreading as well. So just for the record, because that's.
I'm going to go ahead and say, anytime a guy's like, all right, so when the cycles, like anytime those three words come up, then he talks for the next 3 minutes. It's sort of like, maybe wind down.
Yeah.
The whites of my eyes come to the forefront.
Yeah, I would imagine. I would definitely imagine that. When I hear those three words, I just think like, oh, okay, incel. It's Jordan Peterson person. Cool. I don't really want to be friends with you.
All right. Well, we had a good show here today, everybody. I think we got some good laughs. We got some good ideas for the future. Any parting thoughts as we wind down here?
I think it's time for me to get internet.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And also, we got to hook you up with one of these mics. You don't have one of these mics.
Oh, yeah. We're just playing still. We're just messing around.
Yeah, nobody's listening to minute 72 here, I don't think. So we can just have a meeting, basically.
That's true. Let's just do a work meeting. Hey, has Dave ever emailed you back, Tom? No, I'm just kidding. Actually, it'd be great. It'd be great for you to get one of these microphones, you know, not only for the audio quality, but also I saw this just earlier on my Amazon account. There's a specific type of microphone that apparently is Amazon environmentally friendly certified. So I was like, oh, that's interesting that a really chunky piece of tech could be sort of like green. You know, I was sort of thinking green technology is more like bamboo straws, or like, you know, perhaps less plastic. But it was quite funny. So you'll get not only a better audio, but we'll get an environmental credit as well.
Well, Courtney, also, I have another one of the same mics that Will and I use. So just come over sometime and grab it.
Okay.
All right. Anyway. let's
meeting on Monday, everyone. Might as well just do this. Meeting on Monday, everyone, right? Normal time.
Plug, if anybody happens to be, I was talking to someone about this in Nebraska. If we have any Nebraska listeners, viewers, Moving Parts is playing this weekend at the Flatwater Film Festival in Seward. Or a person who lives in Nebraska, in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska, asked me like, "Oh, I see your movie's playing in C-word," which I'm guessing is not how they say it there, but that is how I've been saying it lately.
If it's spelled Seward, like Seward.
Yeah. Made me think
funny.
of that Arrested Development joke where their boat was called the SEAWARD, the C word. And Job and Michael were talking in Lucille's apartment, and they say something like, "All right, so let's get rid of the C word." And Lucille says, "I'll leave when I'm good and ready."
Oh man, just the best writing on that show.
I just derailed the plug for our movie to make an Arrested Development joke, and I'm sorry, but the movie's playing. If you happen to be in Seward or Seward, Nebraska, this I think Sunday it's playing, and I'll be on the directors panel talking about it on Saturday. So I guess there's a plug, and beyond that, subscribe, like, do whatever else, right?
And they can get information on how to go to the C Word Festival on our social media pages.
Yep. Go to follow Yankee Deer Media, and it's all being tweeted and retweeted there. So it should be easy enough if you're a Nebraska person.
All right. Well, I'll tip my fedora to you all tonight. You know, I appreciate. I'm back out into the mining business.
All right,
Bitcoin mining.
Best of
have a
luck.
good one. All right.
Take
See you
care,
later,
folks.
everybody.
Thanks.